Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of $1 Million Media. I'm your host, Max Kellerhals, and today with me I have...
Nora Johnson.
Kyah. Jernigan.
Sometimes I wish you would realize that you're not being video recorded. Alright. Alright, and today's episode we're going to be talking about the top 10 best and worst movies of 2022, and with some honorable mentions in the middle there. But off the bat, we're going to start off with our top 10 worst, because we're not going to end this year's video off with a negative note. So...
Any honorable shit mentions? I have an honorable mention, though.
Okay, go on.
I have an honorable mention on the shit list. I'm saying emancipation sucked. Stop making slavery movies. Stop. We know. I know. I know what happened. I don't need Will Smith to fucking tell me it happened for the millionth fucking time. Make me some good shit. Make me some art. Stop making slavery things. Thank you. Let me feel normal for a fucking minute. Don't let me have to sit here and be reminded like, oh yeah, remember 100 fucking years ago when your great fucking grandmother was in the fucking fields? Yeah, I know.
For our top 10 worst films, at number 10, we have Day Shift. Alright. I'm pretty sure I'm the only one who saw this movie.
Yeah.
It's a Netflix movie with Jamie Foxx, and it's a vampire movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, the gimmick of it being from the stunt team who do a lot of John Wick stuff was really cool. However, this is the most basic of vampire horror comedy kind of plot lines and tropes that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it just did not stick with me. I forgot it. I forgot that Snoop Dogg was in this movie. And he gets a couple of lines. Honestly, I wish this was, instead of Jamie Foxx's movie, I thought this would have been better if it was just Snoop Dogg's. But you know what?
So, for those listening, I have my laptop out, and I figured I'd let you know that the budget was $100 million.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because this is the cheapest looking movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Literally, at the end of the movie, it looks like the final battle takes place on Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Damn.
Like, it just looked... Ugh. I mean, the performances are fine. There's a couple funny jokes. This is the reason why it's at number 10. Is ultimately, it's harmless.
Yeah.
Like, it's not really anything to write home about.
Right.
It was just really lame for a movie that was trying to be really cool and hip and L.A. and all that. And I was just like, shut up. Like, I think Jamie Foxx just needs to do, like, another drama instead of these, like, hard, like, him playing pretty much the same character that he's played in, like, the last couple of movies. Honestly, I ironically think the best movie that Jamie Foxx has been in is, weirdly enough, Spider-Man No Way Home.
Really?
Because I'm like, at least there he's, like, being a better version of a character he played before. But then again, he's just playing Jamie Foxx.
That's not the best movie that Jamie Foxx has been in.
What?
Ray.
No, of the last couple years.
Oh, well, Ray always has a special.
No, yeah, he's great in Ray. He's great in Django. That's his, like, peak
yeah.
Jamie.
Yeah. Making you think.
All right, number 9. Which is funny because we did do a review for this. And we were very positive about it, but Black Adam. Reason why we have it on our worst list now is because everything that we said was good about that movie was all like, oh, the what if going forward. And it's like, oh, well, this will lead to better things in the future. Nope.
Buried.
And I watched this recently with my family, and they're usually kind of, like, indifferent about comic book movies. They just like them most of the time. This was the one where they're like, that was bad. And I was like, yeah, this was not good. What can I say? It's a very standard superhero movie. All those morals we were talking about in the review, the more you really watch the movie, they're there. But
I think it was a case of, like, it had us thinking right directly after the movie, but then when we stopped thinking about it, it's like...
Which was really freaking quick.
Yeah, like, damn, I don't really care. I don't really... Because it made you think, but not about the movie itself, just about life in general. You know?
For like a second. Then
yeah, then it's like, whatever.
I ironically think this is now another movie that's on our list and the best list that ironically does the plot of this movie better. Without even trying. But yeah, Black Adam, Like, it was really cool to see the Justice Society, but then, as our friend Zach said, it was just 2 out of the 4 characters were just trying to fuck the entire time, so it just kind of made it really weird.
Yeah. Noah
Centineo.
Whatever the fuck it is, I don't know.
Yeah, he's that teenage heartthrob of the week. Yeah, not much I could say else about Black Adam.
I mean,
it's just really standard, and like, I mean, I'm sad that Henry Cavill's no longer Superman. I don't give a shit about spoiling that. Spoilers. But like,
if you don't already know, then
that was the selling point of this movie.
Yeah.
And now that that's not even valid, what's the point of this?
Right.
Like, yeah, it was just a really movie. Okay, and number 8, I'm going to let Nora talk about this one because she had this high on her list. But we had to sacrifice it at number 8.
Goodnight Mommy. It's, I'm speaking specifically, of course, of the American remake that came out, I believe, on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
It's a remake of Goodnight Mommy that was released in 2014. I believe it's originally an Austrian film. That was very good. That movie was very good. I love that movie. Goodnight Mommy from America, I hated because it was basically a cheap remake of something that really didn't need to be remade. It made, of course, it made changes, and those changes were dumb.
I've seen trailers for both versions of this, and the one thing I noticed is that the remake, I guess you could say, does a good job in making it look like the original, but that's kind of a bad thing in that these movies look, well, the aesthetic.
The aesthetic, yeah.
The aesthetic looks...
and even some of the aesthetics different from me. I think, I don't know how
I haven't seen it, so, but I was like,
yeah.
Like when I heard like Goodnight Mommy was popular, I was like, oh, okay, that movie from 2016, that's interesting. I was like, no, this is a remake. It was like, oh, that's the remake? Oh, okay, that's different.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like some of the aesthetic was maybe a bit different for me. I think the original Goodnight Mommy was
creepier
in that it reminded me of being trapped in IKEA.
That's a horror.
Just the aesthetic it had, I was like, ooh, I'm stuck in IKEA.
And your mom is someone
not
there.
My mom might not actually be my mom, but I can't tell.
I saw this I was on TikTok the other night, and I actually saw someone give a list of really good psychological
They're probably talking about the original.
Probably.
Hopefully they are, because the original is some of the best psychological horror that.
It's actually I know I've seen analysis of the movie, but it is very one of those movies where you're like, what the hell?
Fuck yeah, and I think. This is going to be a spoiler, but I think they take out some of that really creepy psychoanalysis in the remake, because one of the main driving points of the original movie was you don't know if it's their mother, and that's a question that is kept out through the entire movie, even at the end, where in the remake it's
kind of obvious.
It's kind of obvious. Not to say that it wasn't, clearly well-made movie with a budget to bag it, but it just wouldn't have done it.
It just pales in comparison.
Like
a soulless remake.
It is a soulless remake, and I hate remakes to begin with, but I thought that this one maybe could be a decent remake, and I was wrong.
I always say with remakes, you have to have a good reason why you're wanting to remake
it. Yeah, that too, and there was no good reason for this to be remade.
Okay, moving on, we have number 7. And this is a movie that I had fun talking about this. It was not a good experience. Don't worry, darling. I respect the hell out of every message that this movie's trying to say, and I agree with it. However, the movie's not good. This is the twist you've seen in 10 other better movies. Performance-wise, Florence Pugh is amazing. And that's pretty much it. But everybody else is just doing an okay job. Okay, you know what? Chris Pine was doing really good. Those are the only two, though, that really, noticeably good performances. Harry Styles is just another wannabe actor, in my opinion. It was just really tough for me to see past him as Harry Styles, mostly because, and unfortunately, I'll say that the controversy
That's what I was gonna say.
wasn't really helping this movie. But if you see the movie, even without that controversy, it's not that good.
I mean, I was gonna say that for me, if I hear about this is like very specific, but if I hear something negative about the set itself on a movie, it just makes me not want to watch the movie.
Yeah.
Because to sit there and watch the actors interact with each other and behind the scenes they like actually hate each other,
You can
it
kind
ruins
of
it.
feel that at some points.
Yeah, like it ruins it for me.
There's certain scenes where there's like a very passionate love scenes. Well, it's not really sex. Is head sex?
Yeah.
Okay, sex scenes.
It's intimacy.
You know who you're talking to? Yeah. All right, but there's a scene where I was like in the theater, like, oh, okay, knowing that the director slept with this dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird.
It's just kind of like, okay, are you just like flaunting that this dude is kind of doing this to you?
Yeah, it's strange.
weird.
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah.
It's just weird. And also, funny story, I told this on the episode as well. Yeah, this was really awkward for me because I was the only guy in the theater.
Yeah.
Like,
Alone.
No.
Were you alone?
Guy.
Guy.
Oh.
Filled with women
Fucking ridiculous.
of all different ages. And I'm just that one 20-year-old dude who's just like, all right. Okay, at number 6, we
Men.
have...
Men. My God. This was a movie.
Sorry, the way you said that, I was a little worried. Like, you know we're talking about the movie, right?
Just men in general.
Yeah, I was gonna be like, because
yeah.
having this and "Don't Worry, Darling" be the last one, it kind of does not sound really good for me. But I'll let you talk about Men.
So Men was a movie. That was my first impression of it. It's not a bad made movie. It's actually pretty well made.
Mm-hmm.
Its acting is very good. It just goes in a lot of directions that I didn't really think were necessary, and some of its narration was a
Wait, it's narrated?
No, just the way that the
I was
story
about to be
plays
like,
out
oh, no.
and everything. It's just a little bit.
I heard that the movie's like really up its ass pretentious.
It is up its ass pretentious. You know what? The target demographic of this movie is pretentious, rich white people who like quote high school books that you were forced to analyze and think that they're all that. And you know what? That's mainly who the audience was filled of.
When you saw it?
When I saw it, I was not only the youngest person there, but I was also probably the only person there who wasn't white.
Ooh.
Wow.
And that made some of the scenes that were in the movie a bit uncomfortable because I'm like, some of these people are the same age as my grandma and they're like nodding along.
Wow.
Really intensely to the scene, and I'm
nodding along in like.
Oh, I understand the messages being portrayed in this movie.
Well, is the message like okay with "Don't Worry, Darling"? I understood what the message was, and I agreed with it. I just didn't like the way the movie was trying to tell it.
It's kind of the same way with Men.
So
it just goes in kind of a really
bizarre,
very unnecessarily bizarre movie. It makes people who watch the movie and then analyze it maybe feel smart.
Yeah, I kind of fucking hate
like,
those movies because I'm like
and I feel like that's maybe its sole purpose.
There's those people that say like, oh, this is not a movie, it's film.
Film.
I'm
It's
like,
film.
fuck
I'm like,
off.
fuck off. It's a weird movie. It has good bits and it has its bad bits.
Mm-hmm.
I would just call it meh. Meh.
Fair.
Meh.
Meh. An alternative title would be meh.
Meh.
It does have kind of a really awesome soundtrack.
Okay.
So that
sucks though, because when the soundtrack is
is
good,
a fire.
It's ass.
The movie's ass.
Always.
I can't justify the movie.
Like Dracula 2000.
Oh my god. Shut up. The reason why we haven't talked about that is because you missed out on the Halloween specials. Alright, number 5. We have... Halloween Ends. Talk about a movie with good soundtrack, but like...
I didn't even like the soundtrack.
Disclaimer, I like this movie, but for reasons unknown. I can't justify liking it.
I don't.
I can't
like
justify
it.
liking it.
This movie's just lame.
I get why people don't like it, and I can't justify me liking it.
stupid.
I respect the effort in trying to do something different, but for like the movie that's supposed to end off the Michael Myers Laurie Strode feud,
It just
to not have Michael in it for most of it, and not for like any reason besides like it's not like he died and
He's
in the
just
beginning he's just not present in the story,
No.
and instead we focus on a different character named Corey.
I will say this movie's kind of fun if you're a big fan of Christine.
You know what?
Which I am, so maybe that's why
get it.
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I get it, but like
But I've only read Christine. so.
Christine works in that Christine isn't fucking Michael Myers.
Exactly. I was that, but you know what? When Michael wasn't there, I had Christine.
Yeah, okay, but I
That's-
want to see Michael in a Halloween movie.
I do want it. I did want
Or
to
if
see
you're
more
not gonna-
Michael.
If you're gonna do a Halloween movie, at least do like don't have Michael in it at all, and just do something like Season of the Witch, and just go for something.
Which I
go
think
for
they
broke.
probably should have done.
I thought that-
alternatively.
I think that's what they were trying to do, but ultimately, like they just went in a direction that just did not
Didn't
work for
work.
me.
Yeah. I mean,
And
I get it.
Most of the time, I was just screaming at the theater, saying like, "You guys are idiots," but not in like the traditional horror way, and the more like, "Why the hell are you falling in love with this dude? Like,
Yeah.
he's giving you nothing to
Giving you a
work
word.
with.
Yeah.
He's being creepy."
I will say the actor who plays Corey is phenomenal.
Oh, he's great.
He's phenomenal.
That's the thing. A lot of the movies on this list have really good acting. It's just that the story and the direction was just not up to.
Yeah. I
Oh,
would
it's
say
pissing me
the
off.
only thing that would have made this movie work if it was maybe the second movie in this new Halloween franchise.
Yeah, that's my thought
That's
as
the only
well.
thing that would have made it work
Yeah,
for everybody. For me, it just works because it is. I can't
I know.
justify not
Yeah.
liking it. I'm sorry.
I
Love
think
it.
I agree with you. If they just did this concept as the second film and the second film's concept as the third film, this would have worked 10 times better as a franchise because it'd be more fulfilling on like what happens at the end of this one.
Yeah.
Of like the town coming together. But we can only judge what we have.
Yeah.
And that's at number 5.
I mean, my opinion will stay the same until the day I die. I hate how they even decided to just remake all these movies.
Okay, I will say it's not really a remake. I know I have to be that critic, but it's not really a remake. It's a requel.
It's a requel.
Even more ridiculous. Even more ridiculous.
I'm not saying like
Ridiculous.
I like it, but
ridiculous.
number 4. I'm just gonna make this real quick because I had to stop this movie because I just did not. I was just hating it. Disney's Pinocchio.
Really?
I love you,
didn't
Tom
even know
Hanks,
they
but you
came
couldn't
out.
save it.
I know, like Tom. This is the worst I've seen Tom Hanks do in a long time.
Yeah, I love Tom Hanks. I really do.
I do too. He's America's dad.
I didn't even know any.
There was 3 Pinocchio films that came out in 2022.
I had no idea.
The unintentionally gay one that they got from Russia, and it's
Oh!
only gay because the English dub of it was.
Are we allowed to
Father.
say that?
When can I go out on my own?
Yeah.
Father,
I wanna see
why
the
can't I get
world.
on my own? You know, it's
Then-
funny because that actor is not gay. He's just really high pitched and weird.
Yeah, it's just yassified Pinocchio.
It is yassified. But
Man.
we're talking about the
not
Disney
yassified.
Pinocchio.
Cash
I think this
grab.
is worse because, like, with that other one, like, there was no hope in that one.
No,
This
and it's
could have worked.
It's funny bad. The other one is funny bad. It's,
This is just bad.
yeah, this
This, like, the original Disney Pinocchio, like, really took, like, risks because, like, Pinocchio was a shithead, and, like, the reason why he earns to be a good boy in the end is because he goes through all this stuff, but, like, he, like, he smokes, drinks beer, disrespects his dad, like, he does all these bad things. But in this one, they're just cut all that loose and, like, kind of neutered the film, for lack of a better term. Actually, it kind of makes sense for donkeys, but, you know. I just thought that, like, this film didn't, it didn't, why is this made? It was just made to make money.
It was a cash grab. It was
But
a
that's a
a
weird
soulless
thing.
cash grab.
It was released on Disney Plus,
Not
so it didn't even make
worth-
money.
Not even a worthwhile cash grab.
I know.
Cash grab that wasn't a cash grab. There was no thought. Empty no thought behind this movie.
I just, no.
Sorry,
just,
Tom Hanks.
Sorry.
Sorry,
You
Tom
deserve
Hanks.
better.
Sorry, Keegan-Michael Key.
Really?
He plays the fox, like one of the foxes that, like, sells him into, like,
That sucks.
entertainment business. Dude, no joke, they legit say, like, you'll become influencer. And I'm just like,
God.
shut the fuck up.
That would have been funnier with Yassified Pinocchio.
Oh no.
Because with Yassified
Maybe.
Pinocchio, it would have been completely unintentional.
Maybe.
Good lord.
And would have been delivered much better.
Okay, yeah, let's not think about that too much. And number 3, this movie broke my heart watching it. Thor: Love and Thunder.
I didn't watch it. My only interest in it was muscular Natalie Portman, but that's where my interest ended. And
I haven't seen it.
couldn't
I'll
pull
say
myself
that.
to
Like, okay, there's element, again, in all the movies here, maybe except for Pinocchio, but this movie pissed me off more than Pinocchio. There was so much good ideas in this movie on paper that they just wasted. Like, the Mighty Thor, Jane Foster. That concept is a really cool concept in the comics. And to be fair, when they do focus on the, like, cancer side of things with her, it makes sense. Like that stuff works in the film. However, this is the movie that is, instead of like death by 1,000 cuts, this is death by 1,000 jokes.
Yeah.
I've never been more annoyed in a movie theater in my entire life. And it wasn't because of like kids or anybody. It was just purely at the movie itself. I was just like, will you shut the fuck up?
So, I remember you explaining to me the plot of this movie, and I forgot if you told me this or if you even asked this question. Was it, like, annoyingly pushy with the jokes, or was it like Ragnarok, where, like, it was, like, a perfect balance of funny, but also really serious? Pushing it. Wow.
Pushing it.
That
like,
is
because,
crazy.
like,
Ragnarok works because, like, what Thor ultimately became in the later half of Phase 3 was this broken, sad clown, and that he disguises his pain through humor. They just don't do that. He's just a dumbass in this movie.
Wow.
And it's not in a sad way because you also, like, don't know what you're supposed to have him be sad about. Like, it's just super weird. And I'm sorry, Taika Waititi has now gone on my shit list
Yeah.
of just
Annoying
people. Of just the way he treats his visual effects artists, the way he just doesn't care about certain things that, like, oh, no one's gonna take this shit seriously.
He
and, like,
literally made his own OC, original character, as kind of maybe like a 2-bit character in Thor Ragnarok, and then just got really carried away with that guy.
I know.
I think that, what's his name?
Korg.
The rock guy.
I liked Korg until this movie, and then there's
I
one
didn't even
moment.
really like him when he popped up in, what was it?
Endgame?
Yeah,
Endgame?
I thought...
I
He
thought-
was in Endgame?
He was in Endgame. He was one of Thor's buddies in his.
I just didn't see any point
I
for
thought
him
that
to...
was funny. I
I
thought
did.
that made sense because when you see Thor in that part, he's doesn't really have friends, so the next best thing is just Korg and
I
Meek.
guess. I
But
found
in this
Korg
movie,
annoying.
why is he there? He's like a clear liability. He's brittle. Like, one hit will take him out.
Yeah.
So, like, what is the point of this character? And, like, just gone on my nerves. I hated the goats. I'm not talking about greatest all time. I'm just talking about the goats. They got really fucking annoying. And the thing that just broke my heart is what a waste of a really good villain.
Yeah.
Gore the God Butcher is one of the best Thor villains that they just did jack shit with in this. Because Gore the God Butcher, his belief is right. Some gods do not care about their worshippers or the people that believe in them.
Yeah.
And they should be put on the same level as the people that worship them. I thought that was a really cool concept and something that maybe Thor can kind of, like, play into, and especially now that Jane has become god level. Like, there's so many real cool elements in that, but no, they just cut all of Gore's scenes out of this movie that would have made him a threatening villain, besides the man who just kidnaps children in The Boogeyman. Like, that's not threatening to me, that's just childish. It's not creepy, it's forced creepiness. And I was just like, this movie annoyed the shit out of me, and I think it also annoyed Chris Hemsworth because he'd come out and said, like, if I come back for another Thor movie, I want it to be radically different than anything here.
Wow.
Thor needs to be changed up every movie that he's in. So,
You know what I've noticed?
go on.
With these, so there's about 4 Thor movies, right?
Yes.
First Thor movie, good. Second Thor movie, ass.
Yes.
Third one, good.
Good.
Fourth
Fourth
one,
one,
ass.
Yeah.
That is that's so disheartening too, because I actually was excited to see, because when I heard of like the announcement for like all the new Phase Marvel movies, I was like, oh, this looks so cool. It's gonna it looks like Ragnarok. I loved Ragnarok because the fucking design of the logo and shit like that looked like it would emulate Yeah,
80s.
I was
I
excited.
will say, one thing that really pissed me off about Ragnarok, even though I haven't seen it, was that dumbass guitar riff in the trailer. I know that's a really famous guitar riff.
Oh,
Wait, what?
But I heard
Ragnarok or Love and Thunder?
Love and Thunder. Sorry, Love and Thunder.
Are you talking about Sweet Child O' Mine?
I think so. I
Wow,
shit
okay.
you not. I saw that so many times. I
Alright.
wanted to hurl. And then I don't know what insurance agency decided to use that riff too.
With the commercial with Slash.
Yeah. I fucking lost it. Like, I was... That was my villain origin story right there. I could not.
All
That
right.
was so funny.
I think we're going to move on. That way I don't have to talk about this movie again.
Right.
Oh, God. Number 2, we have Jurassic World Dominion. Okay.
Alright.
This movie, I love the first Jurassic Park movie. All the other movies are, like 2 and 3 are just okay or good.
3 was kind of
Depending.
ass.
I have some fun with it because that was like my childhood movie. I wore out that DVD.
Yeah.
But like Jurassic World, I thought was like a really interesting. Like I like the idea of like what if the park actually was a success.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
The second one I hated, and this one I hate more.
So
It just did everything about that second movie that I hated and just multiplied it by 10.
So what I was pissed about was the last 30 minutes of the second, I enjoyed the whole second movie.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the surprise, like, oh, John Hammond had a second person he was working with. I liked that. I enjoyed that. For some reason, I really liked that. And I liked the entire movie up until, because I just liked them being in the jungle and shit. I liked it.
Oh, you hated them being in the house?
I liked it up until what was her, Maisie?
Sure.
I liked it. I liked it until she released all the fucking dinosaurs.
I thought I was like, okay, that was really contrived.
That
And really forced.
the fact that she was like, they're just like me. And
I
I'm just
hate-
like, no,
oh,
they're
shut
not.
up.
They're vicious, carnivorous fucking animals. They're not like you.
No, yeah.
They're not like you, sweetie. You just unleashed hell onto the world.
I know.
So
I wish they came up with like a better reason why dinosaurs got on the mainland. Because the concept of this third movie was really cool. Like, okay, instead of it being like in this contained park setting, they are just out and about, and we just have to figure out a way to like live with them.
So,
however, instead of focusing on that really cool concept, the main villains of your dinosaur movies is fucking locusts.
I know.
And evil Steve Jobs.
Mm-hmm. Evil Steve Jobs.
This just pissed me off. I was like, you are wasting this really cool idea of like dinosaurs out in the mainland and like a weird kind of mixture between Planet of the Apes but with dinosaurs.
So what I noticed about these movies is that they not perfectly, obviously not, but they did mirror the original trilogy. The first,
they just get progressively worse.
Yeah. Like the first one, they're in the park. Jurassic World, they're in the park.
Yeah.
The second one, they're
on the second island.
They're on the second island.
Well, actually, in the second movie, they were also on the second island.
Yeah, they were in the second island. A dinosaur gets into the city. Yeah, remember when the ship with the T-Rex and it went in the city? Yep, that happened. The third one, they got in a plane crash. They ended up crashing the plane in the third Jurassic World one. I like that, but you're right. It progressively got... Because I am a huge fan of this thing.
Me too.
And I picked up on everything. That first one
is still magical to me.
It just lost it. And I was very excited for this movie because I just really, really wanted to see what would happen to the world now that there's dinosaurs in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it just didn't... The only thing I really appreciated about the movie was the one girl who they found that
wrote the girl?
Yeah, her fine ass. Like, that's the only thing
She was? You know what? All right, I'll give you that. Yeah, okay.
And the one thing, I'm serious, the one thing I really, really was excited about was bringing back Sam Neill and Laura Dern.
Yeah.
And you know what? It didn't even live up to it.
Dude, I thought that would have worked for me too because I'm like, I love those two characters. Like, and I love Laura Dern as that character.
did absolutely
I'll say
nothing.
Sam Neill didn't annoy me.
No, he's fine.
Like
He's always been fine.
Sam Neill played Alan Grant, and I like Alan Grant, but they don't really give Alan Grant that much to do in this movie.
Of course, for like viewers' sake, they finally kiss. Great.
That kiss meant nothing.
It didn't mean anything.
I've been waiting for that ever since I was a little kid. What a letdown.
Nothing. We got nothing. The only thing I got out of that movie was the black girl and that one dinosaur with feathers.
That was cool.
That was cool. I liked that one scene too where I forgot the actress's name. I think it's
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah, I liked how
I liked her in this movie better than all the other two.
In this movie.
I was like, wow, I would have liked more of this version of the character in those other two.
I liked that scene where she was in the water with that one dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was the coolest thing in the whole movie. Like, imagine releasing like a literal evolutionary disaster on the planet, and then you're gonna have a little angsty teen phase. Like, give me a fucking break.
Oh my!
Like, imagine changing the fucking world and the ecosystem that you live in, and then you're angsty and you're mad all the time. Give me a fucking break. Like, come on. Like,
kinda annoyed me too. I was like, little girl, shut up.
Shut the fuck up.
Go to your room.
You put dinosaurs in this fucking
You've caused
world.
the death of millions.
I don't give a fuck what you think.
Alright, we gotta move on. And Morbid 1 is Morbius.
What
yeah.
the fuck you just say?
Morbid 1. Yeah, I don't give a shit. That's why I hate this movie. This is the joke of 2022. There's no, like, this is the moment where people were like, maybe we should stop with these comic book movies.
So, I didn't finish. I got until the point where he was, like, getting in the fucking bat cage and then was, like, documenting him. It was stupid. It was dumb. It was fucking stupid. And then he didn't want to share it with and then this dumbass friend.
Oh, Matt Smith?
I hate that stupid fucking actor. I don't like his face. I don't like it.
Why are you the second person to say that?
I hate his face.
Doesn't like Matt Smith.
I don't like his face, bro.
Alright.
I can't stand it.
No,
Bad movie. Garbage.
This movie was a joke. Like,
Garbage.
what the hell happened to this thing?
I had hope for it.
I did too.
I was like, you guys are just fucking lying. It's not that bad. I'm gonna find out for myself. And you know
I'm talking about. I had hope from that first trailer because that first trailer actually looked really good, in my opinion. The very first trailer back in 2020.
Jesus fuck.
Oh
Yeah, that should have told me like maybe this isn't gonna be good because it had a really cool rendition of Fear Release. If done well, I think vampire movies can be really good.
Yep.
And I thought this would have been one. No, like oh my god.
I don't even want to know how it ends.
It's a bad ending.
I don't even want to know. Like,
It's dog shit.
Yeah, it just
It's just
sucks.
dog shit. It's just...
It sucks.
the post-credit scenes are the
shit.
dumbest I've ever seen.
What are they?
Okay, I don't give a shit about spoilers.
No.
If no one wants to watch this shit.
Fuck it.
Michael Keaton's Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of No Way Home, when the rifts and multiverse or whatever the hell, he got sucked out of that world and teleported into this new one. And because he's never been documented and he has no birth record in this world, they just let him out of prison.
Wow.
And so that's the first post-credit. And then the second one is him going up to Morbius and just saying, we should make a team and fight this Spider-Man guy. That's literally it. Him in the Vulture costume. Which makes no sense at all.
It's Morbin time.
Yeah, oh my god. The fact that this movie was, like, think about it. Like, movies get shit on by the internet a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen a movie get dragged
I've never
internet.
seen that.
The
That's
internet.
got to be like a fucking record or something. That's a history.
It literally tricked the studio into releasing it back in theaters to make only $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the hell?
When I saw it came out on Netflix, I was like, there's no way they're gonna put what they thought was gonna be a blockbuster movie on Netflix.
Oh no. Well, sometimes that's what happens with Netflix. A lot of the movies that were originally supposed to go to theaters go to Netflix because they're like, we have no hope in this. So
I'm talking like the fact that everyone thought that it was going to be the type of movie that would never touch Netflix. That you would probably have to fucking pay.
Because No Way Home's not on Netflix.
It's not on shit.
It's not on anything. You gotta pay to see that shit.
You gotta pay to see all the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, well... Yeah, okay.
Because Spider-Man is owned by Sony.
But Sony was just like, no, not no more of these. They don't even do that with Venom.
Fuck Sony.
Alright.
Just for that.
Okay, we're finally out of the shit of 2022. So we have a list of honorable mentions. We're just going to briefly talk about why we liked them and didn't, love them.
Yeah.
For me, my first honorable mention of a movie that didn't really make my top 10, it didn't make the top 10. It made my top 10, but it didn't make the top 10, was Bullet Train. I really like this movie. I think it's a really fun throwback to 90s action movies. I think the cast is incredible. Aaron Taylor Johnson and Brian Tyree Henry are amazing in this movie. And I think this is my favorite Michael Shannon performance. Because he's just batshit insane. As the White Death. I just thought that was really funny. But I know you, Nora.
I just didn't have a lot for me. I liked some of the aesthetic. Some of the action scenes were okay. Character interactions were okay. It did not click with me.
That's fine.
I felt like, I don't know what it could have taken to click, but it didn't. I was also a little disappointed that there wasn't more Japanese aesthetic, because I feel like that was a lot of the selling points in the trailer. It's an assassin battle royale, but in Japan. And in a bullet train.
And in a bullet train. So its pace is constant and furious and all that. Yeah, it's really good.
I just felt like
I got that aesthetic. I wish there was more Japanese aesthetic, because we are in Japan and we're morally focusing on British or
that's also. I was like, there's no Japanese assassins. There's
okay. There is, and they are my favorite characters in the movie, because I enjoy their heartfelt story, and they're the real heart of the movie in this movie of heartless assassins.
Yeah, it's just that they're not really
in it.
They're not the main.
No, they're not the main focus.
Which is disappointing, because they did have some really good scenes.
Mm-hmm. And Hiroyuki Sanada. I mean, I really like Hiroyuki Sanada in anything, so it was really cool to just see him be funny also. All right, but another honorable mention, I have Intergalactic. This is a Netflix movie. It's Kid Cudi's animated movie. It's his animated passion project.
Oh, I forgot all about that shit.
Did you watch it?
No. Should I watch it?
I honestly think you would really like it.
Let me Google.
Because it's... the only reason why it didn't make my top 10 is because the story is a bit...
Oh, is it by the guys who... It looks similar to...
Spider-Verse?
Spider-Verse, yeah.
It's not made by the same guys, but it is very Spider-Verse influenced.
What's it called?
Intergalactic. I think it's also based off one of his songs.
I'm not that big of a Kid Cudi fan.
But... I really like the movie. I think Kid Cudi's had a really good couple years.
Oh, he's got all-star cast.
Yeah, Ty Dolla $ign's in this.
Yeah, Jaden Smith, Jessica Williams,
Timothy Chalamet.
Wow. Oh, I gotta watch this.
Hold on.
We got Vanessa Hudgens.
Tiana Taylor, Keith David.
Yeah, Keith David's in it. Well, Keith David's in it for a bit. Hold on. Let me say real quick why I think that people should watch this. The animation and overall vibe of this movie is amazing.
This is beautiful.
It's a really pretty movie to watch.
This is visually beautiful.
It definitely has its own urban style, hip hop art.
Yeah.
And as a white guy, I really can't talk much about it, but I really loved it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
It just didn't make my top 10 because it's just the story is a bit paint by numbers. And even though I love rom-coms or romantic movies, this one is just another one of those, which is kind of sad because everything else in the movie just really works. So I just know that if I were to recommend this to anybody, they would just come back and say, yeah, I liked it, but it was just, the story just didn't really work for me. So I was like, fine, whatever. I love this movie, and it's probably going to be a movie I want to go back and watch again. Yeah. Also, this is going to be a theme on our top 10 best. The soundtrack is awesome.
What is it? What is the overall genre?
Psychedelic hip hop.
Wow.
Rap. Have you listened to Kid Cudi? It's Kid Cudi music.
Oh, okay.
It's very introspective. This one's a little bit more about love and trying to find that person in your life. But basically, the overall plot is that he moves into a new apartment, and the person next door to him, he starts to develop a crush on and a relationship, and it's their relationship going forward. And I just really liked seeing it, and like, I want to see more movies like this, both with its casting, the type of, like, okay, I'm just going to be that one white guy and just say the real black aesthetic.
No,
like,
you can say it. Like the real life portrayal of black people and black culture.
Yeah, like this reminds me of black friends that I have.
I'm
not trying to be that one guy.
I'm black. Look at me. Look at me.
Yeah, that's why I say you would like it.
No, what I'm saying is
because the
like
style and like there's certain moments in this movie where like that's Kyah.
This is like it's like I'm looking at the pictures and this is what my neighborhood like looked like. Like this is what I grew up around.
Waukegan or
Waukegan.
Okay, yeah.
This is what
that's what like
Waukegan, North Chicago in general.
The movie takes place in New York. So.
But like you get what I'm saying. Yeah. Like it reminds me of what it is.
Also,
like,
I'll
real.
say this. It does have one of my favorite like lines of 2022 that was just super like random to me. Was Macaulay Culkin's in this movie. Is a brief cameo. He's really funny. But one of the lines he says is like, "It ain't true love if the police don't get called on you."
Real.
All right. Another honorable mention of good movies is Banshees of Inisherin. I really like the performances. The overall script was really good. The reason why it didn't make my top 10, and I was hoping it would, but it didn't, is just because the movie works, but it is sad as hell. I know that's their point. Personally, I just don't go for that. So I was like, oh yeah, it's weird. It's the funniest and saddest movie I've ever seen.
Damn.
Like, there are some really funny lines in this movie and really clever dialogue, but the overall meaning and like how the movie ends is just really depressing, and it really like I watched this with my mom and dad. My dad left halfway through, and my mom was just like, "Max, can you like play your video game?" Yeah, I want to do something else.
When you Google it, the Wikipedia says it's a dark, tragic comedy film.
Yeah, and that's really it.
That's sad.
That's really
That's sad.
Okay, now we have a couple of Nora's honorable mentions.
Lightyear, eat my shit. Everyone who hated it can go suck it and die. It's so obviously a cash grab kids film that I don't know why you feel the need to like say it even louder. Suck my dick. It was a good kids cash grab movie. Yeah, it wasn't perfect, but it had its beautiful moments. I wasn't expecting anything phenomenal, and that's probably why it worked for me. So don't go into the next cash grab children's movie expecting something phenomenal.
You know, all movies are cash grabs.
Technically.
If you think about
all
it,
movies are cash grabs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody has to say. All movies are cash grabs.
Yeah. But yeah, Lightyear was good.
There are some movies that are obviously just
and this was an obvious cash grab. So
but you still enjoyed it.
I still enjoyed it. I knew it was going to be a cash grab. I knew it would be phenomenal. I still enjoyed it because I lowered my fucking expectations, which is what some people should do when going into a movie that is made for children and made with the intent of making money.
Spit, Nora, damn.
I don't know why people get so mad.
So you liked it?
I liked it.
Okay.
I liked it.
Your next...
Scream. Also, obviously, a cash grab, but it was still pretty good.
Yeah, I heard this was good.
It was really decent, actually.
I heard that it was a great continuation, even though sadly Wes Craven has passed. It was still a loving.
Yeah, it was like kind of.
How the hell did you not know that, Kyah?
We're gonna make.
You're fucking lying.
No.
Oh.
Why would I
when
lie
did he
about
die?
that?
When did he die?
This is not like 2015.
Something like that, yeah.
I'm sorry. This is not me doing like one of those fake celebrity death things. I swear. I'm not Angela Bassett's kid.
This is news to me. This is news.
This has been news. This has not been news for like 5 years. He's
wow.
Passed, yeah. I mean, R.I.P. Wes Craven. And I think the movie does.
It's like a nice little fun love note to his work.
Wow.
Yeah.
What he pioneered with Scream.
With so many different stuff.
So many different stuff, but like mainly Scream. Mm-hmm. You know, it does have its moments where it's like, it's not as good, but like, you know.
I heard it's more violent. Or like it has better kills or something.
Kills are pretty good. Wouldn't say they're like necessarily special, but I've seen all the Scream movies like a lot. So
I mean,
I
haven't...
still don't know who the person is in this movie, and I don't want to know because I'm gonna watch it eventually.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it too. I haven't seen it. I did like the trailer though, with the door locks and stuff like that. That was cool.
I also now because of I've been watching Wednesday.
Oh,
Jenna Ortega.
I have a couple honorable mentions.
Good ones? Or
yeah, good ones.
Okay.
Good ones. So first one, I haven't seen this one yet, but I plan on watching it. It's Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
Oh,
because
it's 50-50, just depending on.
Yeah, but I like that type of.
Katie, we talked about this on the show. Katie really liked it.
Yeah.
She said that it really spoke to her because of just the friend group.
Yeah.
Because it really speaks to just the generation we are now.
It's not like a kind of cringe.
No.
Like
I will say I know the ending of this movie, and upon hearing it, it is hilarious.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like really dark.
It looked good. I like the vibe I got from it, and I will say that I will watch it. Another one is Elvis. I just liked.
Elvis too, yeah.
I liked the justice it did.
Yeah.
I liked how I liked how, like we were talking about it earlier, I liked how it didn't completely put the blame on him, because I'm not saying Elvis was the greatest fucking person in the world, but it didn't completely put the blame. Yeah, no one is, you know.
I'm probably gonna get canceled someday.
Fuck, you know? Like, I didn't really think that he
They're gonna find my intergalactic content and be like, hey, what do you mean by that, white guy?
And the one thing I liked about this movie too is the one thing that gets me about movies is the cinematography and the coloring of it.
Yeah, this one was
visually beautiful.
It's Baz Luhrmann.
It was
visually
awesome.
beautiful.
I'll say this, unlike other Baz Luhrmann movies, I think this is the one where he kind of, for good reason, kind of toned it back of his just over-the-top style. What other movies do we want to talk about?
Vengeance, real quick. It's pretty good. It's one of those movies made for intellectual white people that like to pick at stuff, but it also makes fun of intellectual white people.
Why'd you look at me?
I didn't look
I'm dumb as fuck.
I was not looking at you. I was looking in your general direction.
Right.
But it also pokes fun at intellectual white people. It's like, do you know like the radio station NPR?
That sounds
familiar.
It's like pokes fun at people who listen to NPR and NPR podcasts.
Yeah.
But also kind of like it's maybe a little bit of a like kind of love note to them too. It kind of goes into this guy who's really apathetic, wants to make a podcast, finds out that this girl he had a quick fling with died because her family was like, we thought you were like her boyfriend, like intimate, almost going to be engaged boyfriend, and he doesn't have the guts
to tell them. And
when he gets there to the funeral, they're like, so we think she's been murdered, and he's like, podcast, and then from there it just spirals into something something that's probably the best way to say it. It was entertaining. It wasn't anything special, really.
All right.
But it's a good watch. It's not something I would watch again and again, but I would, if it happened to be playing.
I'll keep it on.
I'd keep it on,
I do want to check it out because as a white
guy. Well, there's some really nice scenes with characters that are pretty good, but like.
Well, no, I'm also a fan of B.J. Novak. I think he's really cool. Even though for some reason I just want to punch him because he played Ryan in The Office.
Fair. That is the fairest.
Besides the point.
That's fair.
Okay, one final honorable mention. God, we're really hyping up what is good on this top 10.
Yeah.
But Nope, the movie.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, the movie.
Nope.
I guess I'll just say the reason why I didn't make my top 10, even though I really do enjoy this film, is I just think that there are some moments that are just a bit too, like, look how smart I am. Like the whole Gordy scene, which I thought is a great, well-directed scene.
That's
I don't know, it
that
really
was the
just...
chimp, right?
That's the chimp.
That's the chimp, okay.
Like, I thought that scene wasn't really needed, but I understand why it was there. I just felt like if they didn't have it, I think the movie would still be the same.
I don't think so. Wait, what scene are you talking about?
The actual scene where you see Gordy, or at least the aftermath of the Gordy attack, and you see it from Jupe's perspective.
I don't agree. I
That's
think
fine.
I think
I could totally see, like, but for me it just didn't work. But other than that, the whole, like, look how smart I am. I think that this movie does have really good writing, and, like, I love the concept. I'm not gonna, and I do not want to ruin it for anybody, because when I saw that in theaters, I was like, that is so clever.
Yeah.
Like, I love that idea.
Yeah.
And it really made me, like, go back and look at other, like, UFO things and be like, man, what if that was like this? Like,
Yep.
Like, yeah, that I did not see that coming, and I really respect it. And then what the movie ultimately becomes in the later half, I love. And also the thing that didn't work for me is the last minute the period at the end of the movie.
I understand. I get that.
Just didn't work for me because there was just way too many questions that I had, and I'm like, it's weird. It's not as good as Get Out, but it's his second best. I like Get Out, Nope, Us.
Okay.
Us, at the very end of that movie, I had way too many questions, and it just kind of broke the movie for me. This movie, I had some questions, but
I feel like
gonna break the camel's back.
no, it wasn't. It was like, you know what? These are questions that like most movies usually have, but like I just wish that they would have kind of gone into that because we've been really pushing this idea.
Yeah, I just feel like if we were to do that, it would have went on for just
True.
It would have
And
it would have became a 3-hour movie.
It's just a personal thing, and like I'm never gonna say that this is a bad movie. Like I love this. As I said, I love this movie. It's just that there's just some problems that I just don't think it belongs in the top 10. You can complain in the comments. I don't care. I loved Daniel Kaluuya in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I like characters that could play like not an over the top reaction like performance, and he's subtle.
Really good at that.
I thought like I know so many people like that. You can either see him as just a really shy person, or you can see him as possibly on the spectrum.
Right.
And either way, he's still a really competent main lead.
Oh hell yeah!
I had a friend who didn't like Keke Palmer in the movie. However, I thought she was fine. I thought it was funny.
I can see that, but for what reason?
She just found her really annoying. Like, she just said that, yeah, I liked the movie, but she said Keke Palmer got on her nerves. Personally, for me, I liked Keke Palmer in the movie. I liked her at the end of the movie more because I liked her arc, but...
I think she was just being a black woman.
Yeah.
And you can't get annoyed, because if you had her be boring as fuck, then you wouldn't...
If you had her, like, replaced with some intellectual...
It's not a Jordan Peele movie.
Yeah.
It's not.
Fair.
It's Jordan Peele just writing what he knows.
She reminds me of my cousin.
Yeah.
Really?
That's what I want when I watch a Jordan Peele movie.
Fair.
I want to be reminded of someone like myself.
I don't know. It didn't really annoy me. There was just some moments where I was like...
I get it.
I get it. Like, it's totally a personal thing, too. It's like, if that really gets on your nerves...
I'm just saying why it didn't get on my nerves.
Like, I liked everything else. I really liked Angel, the Hispanic.
Yeah, that guy.
He really made me laugh. Just like, he didn't have anything to do with the two, but he just suddenly becomes a part of the journey because he's just bored.
Shout out to Barbie for the other girl in the movie. The other girl that worked she was in Euphoria. Come on now.
I don't watch Euphoria.
Bruh.
I'm not a sad girl.
I don't either.
You motherfucker.
Yeah.
Fine. Be that way.
Be sad. Okay. All right. Finally, gonna get to the actual top 10 good movies.
Yeah.
Those were all honorable mentions, or the worst movies and honorable bad movies. Number 10 on our top 10 of 2022, I have Turning Red. I really like this movie. It is such an adorable movie, and a movie that I think, sadly, isn't made a lot.
No, it. You know what it took me back to? It took me back to, like, early Disney Pixar movies.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. It felt maybe a little more relatable because it was targeted towards young people today. And, you know what I mean? There's, like, maybe a difference.
I wouldn't say that because the movie takes place in 2002.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, that's what I mean is, like, it hits the nostalgia button for older people like us.
Yeah.
And
it's weird to think that, like, that is now old.
I feel like some of the, like, movies made when we were that age were maybe more like
90s.
Yeah.
90s or 80s. Well, now the 80s have come. Whatever. But why I like this movie is I love the relationship between Mei and her friends. I love their dynamic. I also found, I think the girl's name is Abby, the Korean girl, hilarious.
I don't know all their names.
Like, I remember Abby and Mei, but that's the only two I remember. Because I forgot the other two's name. They're funny in their own right, but I just remember those two because they really stood out. And I also really appreciate the relationship she had with her mom. I thought that was really cute. But reason why I think I like this movie a lot is because I don't know what it is. I'm not even a dad, but it's just nice to know that I can, if I have a daughter in the future, I can show her this.
Yeah.
And have her kind of be prepared for changes in puberty and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's also what's very different about this movie. Is I think it really does mark.
And it's kind of sad that like that was a controversy, even though like
that's
more than 50% of the planet goes through.
That's just life, and I think that's a turning point in where the film industry targeted towards younger audiences are now finally being able to talk about this. Like, oh my God, they said pads and periods. Christ, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
that's just life.
I remember when I was watching it, because I was like, I only knew like, oh yeah, she turns into a giant red panda, turning red. Okay, I get it. But when it hit me, I was like, oh,
yeah,
okay. Yeah. And this is me being like the dude.
I like that it focuses on maybe the girl in school that you didn't talk to because she was the weirdo and she had like maybe a close-knit group of friends.
Okay.
Because I feel like other movies, what was this, Disney and Pixar?
Pixar.
I feel like other movies that they've done that focus on children, or the kids would be the protagonists, the kids would be like, be popular kids. Like,
yeah.
They, to me at least, didn't feel relatable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you really wouldn't maybe
talk to,
but like you wouldn't make fun of.
The only time that like it made sense when she was getting made fun of was because like her mom was doing like something,
stuff.
Even though this movie wasn't really aimed towards me being white and guy. But I still really enjoyed it, and I thought like the animation style was. I liked it. I know a lot of people don't like the really fast cartoony motions of it. It reminded me of anime.
Yeah. I think that was a good thing. Mm-hmm. I mean,
and it reminded me of like one of those slice of life anime that like and just in a Disney Pixar format. And I was like, oh, that's cool.
My favorite meme that came from this movie is where she's like in her red panda form, maybe is like this, and it's like under. Oh my God! They hit the fucking Pentagon.
Oh my God!
And we kept referencing that, and I was like, "This is gonna get me my ticket into hell."
Speaking of tickets into hell, go to Valhalla. At number 9, we have.
Oh, The Northman! Fucking love this movie. Yes, it was a box office bomb, but it recovered. It is a fucking good movie. I love this shit. Oh my God! I don't know.
I've never seen it.
It's a good movie.
I've seen parts.
Like, it's not perfect. I get it. It's not perfect, but I love it. It was my hyperfixation. You didn't see it, right?
I've seen parts. I can have a discussion about it. Like, I guess what didn't really intrigue me about it is mostly just is what I kind of feared is it's a slow burn. However, like if you're okay with that. Also, I heard that it's one of the few movies where they're not afraid to like show how Vikings really were.
That's why I love it.
I really appreciate
because everyone, they come off watching Vikings, and they're like, oh,
or
Vikings.
How to Train Your Dragon,
and they're like, oh, Viking, funny people with the helmets,
with the horn helmets, yeah,
with the horn helmets,
and shit. They were honorable warriors. Like,
no.
Vikings went around. They're not the football team.
No,
that you
think that they were. Well.
Wow, that just topped our new darkest joke.
We are on a roll here.
We're on a roll.
Christ.
But that's what I like, that it was very historically accurate. The cinematography, the performances, the fucking soundtrack. Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm. I've seen the final fight, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's just nuts.
It's like...
Not pun intended.
It's like the last fight in Revenge of the Sith.
I was going to say...
they're naked.
Yeah, it's 2 Viking dudes, like beard and all, just naked with swords and shields fighting each other.
Hold on, let me Google this shit.
He says, ew.
Let me look at it.
So the slow burn concern, I would say it's, well, at least to me, it didn't really feel that much like a slow burn. There were moments that were definitely slower, but it was a fairly even-paced movie. I think for overall plot of the story, it was maybe a bit slow. In terms of the main character, pushing things forward to achieve his ultimate goal. But it worked for me.
I haven't seen it, but I totally trust your opinion on this because, like, you were really adamant about that.
Yeah.
And you were adamant about another movie that's on this list, and you were ultimately right. So I let you have this.
Yes.
I threw you a bone.
Other than the weird accents, the performances were great. They did waste one character, I feel like, who had a lot of potential, but only had like about a 5-minute scene, which was good, but it just I felt like it was such a waste.
I will say this about this movie. I've never seen it, but looking at the pictures, I'm sorry, this is probably the hottest movie I've ever seen.
I don't know if you want to say that just off the bat.
And I will say Willem Dafoe's
with
character.
The crown is kind of sexy. I'm not gonna lie. Whatever the fucking this man.
Oh,
I knew it. I knew it.
Who is this man?
Alexander Skarsgård.
Yeah.
The one that was in the clown movie?
No, that's Bill.
His brother. The Skarsgård's family's kind of like, I think, an acting family.
Yeah, they're an acting family. To be fair, out of all the nepotism babies, they're pretty good.
They're good.
They don't really
that man
is not a baby.
No!
that is a man.
They really don't acknowledge it because I didn't even know they were nepotism babies.
It's hard not to when their last name is Skarsgård.
But I just didn't know.
Name.
Okay, number 8. This is a movie that I really petitioned to get on this list because I think it is awesome. RRR. I think this is the most pure movie ever made. In that it is pretty much every great inspirational movie about like uprising, revolting against a power, and a movie about friendships and a bond between brothers. All of those movies combined into one to make one epic ass Tollywood film. And now I don't get much of like the cultural like appreciation of the actors that are in the movie, but for any of the 1%, and I looked, we have 1% of $1 Million Media's audience is Indian.
That's funny.
So to you out there, I really love this movie, and I never seen any other movies with these actors in it, but they really brought their A game, and I thought they were amazing in this movie. Yes, this movie does have a lot of Tollywood eccentricities, you could say, like a lot of over-the-top action, but for me, it just felt like really genuine, and like we are showing historical figures as superheroes of people who actually stood up against something that was bigger than themselves, and we're showing them as larger than life.
If you Google a movie, the first thing that pops up is like Oscars momentum, like Golden Globes.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think movies need to be Oscar worthy to be good.
No, I'm just saying, like I just think that
if this were to win anything, it already won a Golden Globe for.
No, it did, yeah.
Best song, and I also say this: that the Bollywood dance number that's in this movie is really cool.
In regards to
I want to learn the dance.
I'm meaning like
cool I'll fuck it up, but like I want to learn the dance.
Like in regards to the Oscars, though, I haven't seen a movie yet that is even talking about getting an Oscar. So like when I Google this, like me personally, I haven't seen anything about any movie that I've seen or heard of that's came out last year that is even talking about getting an Oscar.
We'll talk about one possibly.
Yeah, but this looks amazing.
It's very fun. It's the most fun movie I've seen this year.
Yeah.
Like all these other movies are like they are fun in their own ways, but they also hit on different emotions. But this one is just pure cinema fun, pure movie fun, and I think it is definitely a movie that you should go out there and watch. I watched it 3 hours before work, so when it ended, that was amazing. I was in a good mood. Please, if you're one of the few who have not watched this, please watch it. Okay, number 7, and I think we can all talk about this.
Yes!
I'll let Kyah introduce it.
My new favorite movie of all time, Babylon. That shit was... I can't even, like, describe it. Like, and I'm not the type of person that's, like, I'm not like you, Max. I'm not very, like...
Weird?
No, I'm not very descriptive about movies.
Okay.
But this is the one movie that I can just sit here and fucking think about and talk about for hours.
Mm-hmm.
So, basically, it's about... It's set in the 1920s, and it's about different types of people that are all in Hollywood and their rise and their fall.
Yeah.
And it each has a special way of rising and each has a special way of falling, I feel like.
And it's all, like, different... Sorry, I don't mean to cut you
No,
off,
no.
But it is all different, like, people from walks of life. You have a white up-and-coming actress. You have an old white leading man.
Mm-hmm.
You have an up-and-coming Hispanic bellboy who has dreams of working on a movie set.
Mm-hmm.
You have a black jazz musician.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a... Okay, I'm just going to say Asian because I don't know the specific.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, and it's, like, not even with the white girl, too. It's, like, specifically, like, what people would consider like back then
Trashy white.
Trashy white. She's from Jersey. She's got accent.
Just going back, the Asian girl is like some burlesque.
Yeah.
Very sexy.
Very
very like
very gay.
Very gay.
Very gay.
Very gay.
Very gay.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the trailer about this movie, and honestly,
The
it made
trailers
me
didn't
sad.
get me, but
Well, I just like old Hollywood.
I know.
But it did make me sad that the way it bombed, which I think it's from the snowstorm.
I think there's many different reasons why. It's a movie that's definitely wanting to get awards, but it's a weird movie to release around Christmas.
Yeah.
This would have done 10 times better in November. Like, this is definitely that movie you want to go out and watch because it is chaotic in all the best ways.
It is just mind twisting. It really had me sitting there like mouth open.
Yeah, I love this movie, and I did not expect it.
Yeah, I didn't.
I was really shitting on this because
you were shitting on it, dude. You were really shitting on it.
I was really upset because I was like, why the fuck is she dragging us to Babylon? But then the first 20 minutes kind of had me hooked because I was like, this is insane.
Yeah.
The scene we walked in on.
The scene we walked in on.
We were probably 10 minutes late movie time.
To be fair, the thing we did walk in on was
ridiculously. I think it was honestly the perfect hook for us.
For me.
For me, yeah, because
For
I was like,
different reasons.
What I knew about Babylon was virtually little to nothing. Vaguely seen the trailers, but I didn't know what maybe.
Well, yeah, the trailers don't really give you like a good idea of what the movie really is.
See, for me, it did.
It gives you like an idea of like what you're gonna watch, but it doesn't tell you like what it's about. And I think that's ultimately it wasn't really a really good marketed movie. However, we're not here to talk about marketing. We're here to talk about the movie, and
I didn't even know it was going to be 3 hours long. I thought it was maybe an hour 59, 2 hours 15 minutes.
To be fair, yeah, it is 3 hours long.
It is 3 hours
but it's crammed with some of the most entertaining, like...
It could be 3 hours because it's 3 hours of just nonstop things that I could keep watching for so long.
The pace is really good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I didn't even realize it was 3 hours. I remember checking my phone and it was about 11:30 and I was like, we've been here all night.
Honestly, it's kind of sad because I'll never get an experience like that again, just like the first impression. Yeah. Nor will I ever be invited to a party that cool. Moving on to our number 6, we have Glass Onion.
Glass Onion.
I haven't seen that yet. I've been wanting to see it.
It is a lot of fun.
It's really,
Can I tell a secret? I actually haven't seen Knives Out yet.
You don't need to watch this.
Yeah, I don't?
No.
Oh, great.
Really,
I would watch Knives Out with you, though.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Knives Out. I like Knives Out, but I think this one might be a little bit more fun for me than Knives Out.
Isn't Batista in this?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's really good in this
really funny.
He's in everything.
He's really funny.
And I think
it's different kind of funny than Drax, but funny nonetheless.
And I think this is like completely unrelated, kinda, but like when this movie was released and when everything happened with Andrew Tate went down, I thought that
know what? Yeah!
That was the funniest shit ever.
Yeah.
Elaborate.
Oh, wow.
And I thought it was even funnier that with everything that happened with Elon Musk, all the shit he's been doing.
Yeah, the movie's
just really fucking funny context-wise. It wasn't planned.
No, that's the funniest part.
Can you like explain it without spoiling it for me?
Okay, yeah. Batista plays like a
men's rights
activist.
He plays Andrew Tate, basically.
Basically bigger Andrew Tate, but yeah, Andrew Tate nonetheless.
Wow.
He really plays it up too. Like he's really funny.
And I will say one of the best scenes in this movie is when everyone in this whodunit meets each other before they go to, because, and this is really unique, and I watched a video on this, but because this movie is set during kind of like quarantine. Like it's not necessarily the height of quarantine, but it's there.
Well, actually,
it might be.
It takes place like May of 2020.
Yeah, so it's like at the height of
quarantine. Which I was shocked because I was like, oh wow, we are in a point where we can actually talk about this or have a movie set there?
Yeah.
Interesting. Because it also really shows like, everybody's kind of distancing themselves.
But like the best way that they introduce the characters and their personalities and who they are is with face masks.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Really funny.
It's really
That's
fucking
really
funny.
I'll say, what is her name? Kate Hudson is really funny in this movie. She might be
She's,
funnier than Batista.
Kate Hudson.
She
Yeah.
plays like a really airheaded
I love
like
Kate
model
Hudson.
Yeah.
who gets
Birdie.
Yeah.
Birdie, who her shtick is that she doesn't realize that what she says is racist.
Yeah. She's like, she doesn't realize she's problematic. She's just like, I tell it how it is.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Oh, there's a great
But like,
line that
she genuinely means it. And her assistant's kind of funny. Her dynamic with her assistant.
I
is
love
on
that
the-
actress. She was in Iron Fist, and the best thing about Iron Fist. But she's also she's not the best thing in this movie, but she's really good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really good, but I want to say off the bat, Janelle Monáe,
Yeah. Really.
incredible in
Yeah.
this movie,
She was
She's
awesome.
and I don't want to say why.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
But
can't.
she was, her performance
Ooh, I love her.
was great.
Oh, and by the way, hot.
Hot.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
hot.
Hot.
Oh, God. Oh, I've had a crush on her since I was about 14.
This was the movie where I was like, oh, hello.
Yeah, well,
And it wasn't the parts that you may think.
interesting.
Uh-huh.
Interesting. But yeah, and I think this movie was just really fucking fun. It felt
It is so fun.
I feel like with Knives Out 4 felt more like a kind of Clue whodunit.
Mm-hmm.
This movie just felt like a fun
Who done it?
whodunit. Yeah.
It also takes a bit to get to the who done it,
But it's like it's
you still get a lot of really fun parts to it
Yeah.
because at first you're like, okay, what's going on here? Because there's no real murder.
there hasn't been a murder.
And then when something happens, you're like,
Oh.
And
Yeah.
it's like it definitely takes a turn after that. And you're like, I didn't expect that one to go, but okay. I'm sad that it didn't have a bigger theatrical release because
Yeah.
even though I was doing homework in this show at the time, I wouldn't have been able to see it. But still, this is a really fun movie, and that's all I could say because we could talk for hours about
it.
what goes on in this movie, but we have to move on. All right, number 5, we have Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, the best Pinocchio
That
of
isn't
this
the
year.
Yassified Pinocchio.
Yes.
Justified Pinocchio.
This
Uh,
movie, I
It's
probably
so heartwarming.
it is, and you know what? I'll be very honest. I probably wouldn't have seen this movie if my mom hadn't made me watch it, which is really fucking funny because my mom hates animated movies. I didn't really know what I was getting at. I knew it was Guillermo del Toro, and I know I've seen a lot of his work, so I'm like, okay,
I love his work.
it's naturally gonna be a darker Pinocchio.
Darker, weirder. lot of-
Pinocchio, but I didn't realize how dark it got. I didn't. Other than it's Guillermo del Toro, I wasn't really anticipating anything, and so naturally, I didn't anticipate how hard it would punch me in the feels.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I have not
I'm
seen
not
this.
crying. You're crying. What do you mean?
Yeah, they're
asshole?
like, this is my favorite version of Geppetto.
Yeah.
Like you really get like his heartbreak
Heartbreak.
and like why. Like at first he doesn't want anything to do with Pinocchio. He was
and
like,
it's for
I
maybe almost a good reason because he's like
this is not what I wanted. I wanted this,
and like
not
you
this.
and you like. I think it's just great because it just shows how unhealthy someone can deal with grief.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's not going to define them. You can get out of it, and you can make the best with what you have, and you can find a better like coping method and find support.
I also like the message of like Pinocchio has to learn how to be a good son, and how Geppetto has to learn to be a good father.
Yeah.
Because Pinocchio he's a little bit obnoxious, but he still has
He's a kid.
really
He's like an actual kid in this movie. Like I work with kids, and I know kids who are like him.
like
They're good intended, but they can be little shits that you want to kick in the shin and say, "Hey,
stop.
him! Stop!"
Like they're like in most movies, what I don't like is that kids can just be annoying for the dumbest of reasons, just to serve the story.
And they won't typically be called out on it.
But for this movie, he does do things that like would get like most kids do and would get in trouble for. But it felt very normal and familiar, and like, oh yeah, I've done something like that. Also, I want to say this movie is darkly funny.
It is darkly funny.
Because the gimmick of Pinocchio can't die.
It's morbid, but it's funny.
Yeah.
I will say, Ewan McGregor really came through in this movie. I think he was really fucking funny.
Hi, Maya. Yeah. Sorry. Ewan McGregor was really good as Sebastian Cricket.
Yeah, he was great. You know, and I think that was a strong point of the movie. I think letting the movie really use its historical setting.
Oh my God! Yeah. The
I-
moment I was like, "Oh my God, those are Nazis."
What?
Well, first it was Yeah, because like the movie takes place
in Italy, 1940.
Yeah,
or 1930 or 40.
In the very beginning, it's set during World War One, and
Mhm.
then in the for the rest of the majority of the movie, it's World War Two. I mean, you literally have fucking
Mussolini.
Yeah. You know that scene where Pinocchio in the original movie's like, "I got no strings to hold me down." Yeah, it's Mussolini watching that shit. It's really funny.
Really dark funny, but
It's even funnier that my dad laughed at it because he's a big history buff, and he's like,
the way they introduce Mussolini, because it's not a very flattering portrayal, but
No.
for a movie that's aimed at families that has this really dark idea in it, it really cracked me up how they introduce him and how
my dad got the biggest kick out of it because he's a big history buff, and he was like just laughing.
Yeah, because if you know who that is,
yeah,
it's funny that they're portraying it in that kind of way.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just such a beautiful, heartwarming movie about a little wooden boy. All right, you want to move on to the next movie? At number 4, we have The Menu.
I haven't seen it yet.
Sorry, Kyah.
And you know how much I wanted to see that movie.
I know.
We'll keep it as spoiler-free.
Yeah, I love good dark comedy. This is dark comedy at its finest.
Okay, taking off the dark comedy label and I think going with its original label of like a horror comedy. How would you put it? Horror comedy or comedy horror?
Comedy horror.
Yeah.
It's funnier than it is scary.
Yeah.
But it is tense as hell.
Yeah.
And also the style of the movie, of how they introduce each chapter.
Yeah, it's really fucking
really funny.
I like how they introduce the characters as well.
Just right off.
Once you see the movie again, it really makes fucking sense. You pick up a lot of things.
I want to watch this again.
And I will say, this is a really good movie about passion turned into obsession.
Yeah, that's what I was really surprised by. And also, Ralph Fiennes.
He was fantastic.
Amazing. I love Ralph Fiennes, but
he's great. But in this movie, he was
scary.
He's Lord Voldemort
and a Nazi. in Schindler's List, not in real life. Not in real life.
No. As Lord Voldemort, he has the help of the makeup to enhance his performance.
Bro, in this, it's just like...
It's just him being uber creepy as hell.
You don't know what he's going to do next.
Exactly. You don't know where this is going to go. The way he, like, gets everyone's attention with the...
Oh, that's so creepy. And I will say, his, like, not relationship, but, like, interaction with Anya Taylor-Joy. I was about to say Margot Robbie, but that's only because the main character in this movie is named Margot.
Okay.
So I was about to say it, but I won't. I really like their little back and forth.
Like,
he fucking hates her towards the beginning, but then
he's like, okay, wait, I kind of get
like
you.
He has like this like backhanded respect.
Yeah, he has this whole philosophy of there are those who take and there are those who give, and that is super important.
I also like, not gonna say much about the main character, but I like what she is. I think that it's a good kind of message.
Yeah, this is a little bit more personal for me, but I in the area that I live, there's a lot of like rich, pretentious white people that would absolutely dine at this place.
Yeah. And
so seeing the way that they get torn down throughout this movie is so fucking satisfying
okay, I'll say this. I liked how they tore down everybody. I will say, even though it's a really funny joke, the actor one, I'm like, okay, that's a bit far.
That was so funny.
It is a really funny joke.
My favorite line, though, was his assistant, he was like...
Where do you go to school?
Brown.
Student loans?
No.
You're dying.
Yeah.
Like, that shit was too funny. I was like, oh my god.
And what's her name? But the woman who plays, is it Elsa? Ralph Fiennes, the chef's assistant.
Oh, Han Chow?
I think so. I don't know.
I'm sorry if I said that wrong or if I got the name wrong. I apologize. But yeah,
she's
incredible.
And I think she really does set up all the tension for the movie.
Yeah.
Because her job is to make sure that everything runs smoothly.
She is someone
outside of the kitchen. She takes care of the guests. She gets them there. And the way she goes about introducing parts of the island, specifically, I'm thinking of the meat house. the guests are like, she's explaining how they age the meat for an absurdly long time, but because of the way they age it, they have to be extremely careful. Otherwise, if you eat that meat when it's not properly aged, it will kill you.
It'll kill you. Yeah.
Basically. And so she says if we don't age it correctly, it could be dire. And, the guests, do that. Consequences.
Yeah. And they don't care.
And then she responds by factually breaking down how the meat would kill them, and just leaves everyone completely speechless and completely unsettled. And then she chuckles and
You know how in most horror movies, and that's why I think this is a comedy horror, and you get that one character you're like, I want you to die. That's for me, Nicholas Hoult, the boyfriend.
The boyfriend. Yeah. Oh my god.
He got on my nerves.
He was awful, but
I'm such a great performance.
Yeah.
He's
my
such
god.
a
He was
piece
his
of shit.
He was his own monster, and I think he was
awesome.
honestly.
No one liked him. No one in the movie liked him.
In the context of the movie, I think, especially during my second or third viewing of this, because I have watched it that many times, I think he's a worse monster than the chef.
Yeah.
Because as someone who works in that particular industry, and getting to tell these really stuck-up assholes no, and getting away with it, so fucking satisfying. Yeah. I could not. Oh, that gave me such joy.
So glad that you really pushed it.
I loved it.
Because you pushed it, and I was like, all right, fine, I'll watch the menu. And I watched it with my mom and dad, and I was just like, wow, this is really fun. My dad was like, this is a comedy, and then we got to one particular scene, and he was laughing his ass off.
I took my parents to see this movie, too, and I will say that my dad said it was like watching Midsommar all over again, which means it traumatized him, but he was like, I did enjoy it, and I found parts of it funny, and my mom's like, outside of this being the only maybe entertaining thing at our theater at the moment, I wouldn't have seen it. I'm glad I saw it. Did it traumatize me? Yes, it did, but I enjoyed it nonetheless.
We're no longer going to any fancy restaurant.
Exactly.
Also, I'll say this: this is not kind of negative, but I will say I don't like the food that they were serving.
No,
that is,
and I think that was maybe the point.
Yeah, I was just like, that does
what
not
were
look
they serving?
appealing.
You can tell me what they were serving.
They
really?
So the whole point of the restaurant is these super over deconstructed foods. Literally, one of the meals was served on a rock.
That's funny.
It was so fucking pretentious.
It was very pretentious and also really small portions, which that automatically pisses me off.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
I'm not gonna say what it was, but the last meal was the only meal that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
Number 3, we have the Batman.
Oh my gosh!
It's the theme for me because I grew up.
I know.
With the
by the way, rest in peace, Kevin Conroy.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
This is probably my favorite Batman film.
Hell yeah!
I love The Dark Knight, but this is my Batman.
I can put this above The Dark Knight.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So
I've watched this movie 5 times.
Yeah, me too. I'd say so.
I really do like this movie.
Yeah, no, I thought it was. I thought it was.
I love it so much. I dressed up as the Riddler.
You did.
Halloween.
You did.
Which, by the way, what a great villain.
I love this interpretation of the Riddler.
Was such a versatile actor because I remember over break I was watching him do Hot Ones and I was like, he's such a normal guy. He's such a normal guy, and you would never think that he could really sit there and get into that type of character.
I know. I'm so glad that there's a version of the Riddler like this now.
Yes. Yeah.
The Zodiac killer inspired.
Yes.
Killer, and I just think that was such a good way to juxtapose that to the psychotic Batman we get in this.
He's just fucking...
I love that they just say, no, he is insane. There's something not right with him.
Yeah, something's up.
He wears eyeliner.
I love that, by the way.
Where's eyeliner?
I think that made perfect sense.
It does.
Well, every Batman has done it. It's just that they never acknowledge it. And this was the first one where no, he has to have it on it because in order to make it look like...
complete black.
Yeah, because if he just had the mask on, it would be weird because he's big ass
we see with, I think, Adam West's Batman.
Yeah.
And the jokes about how, Batman sees you like litter and then he beats the shit out of you? We literally got that type of Batman in this movie. Because the first, 10 minutes, Bro comes in, beat the shit out
I
of
know. I love that first 10 minutes where you just see
everybody.
It's like a combination of that, and then there's that song, something...
I
only know the parodied one off the...
I have a...
In my ass.
So I have a very fun fact about that. This version of the Batman is coded from Kurt Cobain.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The overall look of this version of Batman was inspired by Kurt Cobain, of someone who's like very popular. Like Bruce Wayne is the popular version and like the one that everybody loves. He's very reclusive. Kurt Cobain loved just doing the music.
Yeah.
And he didn't care about his fame. Bruce Wayne wants to be Batman, not Bruce Wayne.
He's struggling.
Yeah, he's struggling
to fit into society, just like Kurt was. Kurt never.
I don't think he wants to fit. He just wants to fit.
He just wants
in
to
his
just
own weird way.
Yeah, he just wants to be.
Batman's always been like, something horrible happened to me and I will never let that happen. Or I'm so angry about that and I'm never going to get over that.
Yeah.
That I'm going to take my rage out upon the city. And I love that they're just like, yeah, that can only get you so far until other people start to like take on that idea.
Yeah.
And then I love that this Batman had to learn a lesson of like, I need to be better. Instead of this vengeance, I need to be Batman, this hero. His chemistry with Zoe Kravitz, Catwoman, incredible, hot as hell. I also really liked his chemistry with Jim Gordon. Like I love their little good cop, bad cop, or bat cop. Sorry, I had to do it.
Lord.
I really enjoy. Fuck you.
You didn't even let me comprehend that.
No, I won't. I liked the Penguin.
Yeah.
It's Colin Farrell, unrecognizable. And I really like the action in the movie. That's and just the overall tone. And this is my favorite interpretation of Gotham, because Gotham is actual character. Like we're fighting for the soul of Gotham. And I get the criticism of like, you don't really see the image Bruce Wayne in this movie, but I'm okay with that because, yeah, it is a part of the Batman character, and when done right, it works. But it's not my favorite part of the Batman character. Like I like seeing Batman and Bruce Wayne when he's just in the cave. That's more interesting to me than hit this lie that he puts out there. So yeah, I don't know.
I can't spoil this either, but there is a very special scene with the Riddler. There's a very special scene with the Riddler that made me excited for the future as well. I'll just say. You know
we can leave it off of that.
Yeah, you know what I.
Yeah,
you know
there's also. Yeah, this is also one of my favorite reviews that I got to do with Emily and Joelle, and just want to shout them out. And the fact that Joelle thinks that she relates to the Riddler. All right, at number 2 we have Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and I think we all saw this together.
Yeah,
We got a big group of people.
We got a big group of people to go. Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is my favorite comic book.
There was a whole lineage in that fucking theater to see that movie. Remember that big ass family that took a picture on the stairs? Entire lineage was there to see that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was definitely an experience.
I was a mess.
You were a mess on two fronts. You were a mess emotionally, and you were a mess simp-wise.
Yeah.
Oh.
Every time he came on screen. Every time.
All right. Yeah.
Every time.
I just want to say it.
Right next to her.
I like fish. Wait.
Fishman.
Fishman.
Not man fish.
Yeah.
No more?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I really liked his performance in this movie.
Let's we all know out in the air the emotional instability that this movie caused, but focusing in on the story and the action of the movie, I really, really liked his character. I liked his society. I loved it. I
like the new take on a underwater culture that you've never seen before.
Yeah.
Especially with Mesoamerican.
It was so much cooler than what they originally planned because they were we were basically going to do what Aquaman did, but then Aquaman came out and we had to change that around because we didn't want people getting us confused with Aquaman.
Yeah, I mean, there's still some Aquaman comparisons, but this is
different level.
Very different.
Yeah, and I also going back to why I didn't like Black Adam. I felt like this movie with Namor did what Black Adam should have done. He's a protector of his nation. He's reasonable to a point.
But there's something fundamentally wrong with him. about the way he goes about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like he does push limits of like, oh, you killed one of mine? I'm gonna blow up your city.
Yeah, I'm just gonna blow up your fucking
Like,
city.
holy shit.
Flood your
You
streets.
send one of mine to the hospital, we'll send one of yours to the mall.
Also, he had one line, I'm not gonna say the context of it, but that was just, I was like, Jesus, dude. Chill.
Like, chill out. It is never that serious.
By the way, real quick, I find it really funny that a lot of comic book fans are now kind of like, okay, Hollywood, what are you trying to say here about the villains in this? Because are you trying to say there's a black on brown thing going on here?
That was the majority of the message of the movie, because the only reason Wakanda and Talokan went to war with each other was because the white folk were like, hey, we want vibranium too. That first opening scene was literally France being bitchy and being like, hey, we think we should get vibranium because we don't think you Wakandans are giving us anything.
It's a societal thing that happens.
I know, but I just didn't think about it until she pointed it out.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nora.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you know. You
Tell me about the cause.
Yeah.
You're woke now.
You're woke.
All right.
But I think I said this in the car or something like that, but I want the Oscars to stay the fuck away from this movie.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that's going to get an Oscar is either soundtrack for Best Original Song.
It better! I swear to Jesus.
It's either going to be that or Best Supporting Actress, Angela Bassett.
I just want them to stay away from it just because of the disrespect that they served to Chadwick.
Yeah.
I want them to stay the hell away from him and whatever else he is involved with.
I think that's deserved.
Yeah.
I think the soundtrack and the original song was phenomenal, and that should be recognized.
Well, I also think like Angela Bassett does a really fucking good job.
Oh my god, she was incredible.
She had me
movie.
Crying, dude. Like, just raw emotion.
Her performance, like, not just like vocally, but like, you know, her
subtext.
The subtext, the physical performance she brings into the room. Amazing.
When she yells at people,
it's like I'm being yelled at.
Yeah, like your mom is yelling at your black mom is yelling at you.
It is.
And
her muscles. Sorry. Side note.
And you know, one other thing I'll say, earlier in this episode, we talked about "Don't Worry, Darling," about how I said if I know something that's wrong on the set, I'm not going to enjoy the movie. Entirely different situation, because we know what happened behind the scenes in this movie, and the fact that I could watch it and really watch every single person's raw emotion in that film really just made me love it so much. It's bittersweet.
It's sad that the reason why this movie is so good is because something so horrible happened.
Yeah.
And the reaction is just so honest.
And
I love the way they handled it.
Yeah.
Because I thought they were going to just do the whole, like, cash grab thing. CGI. Like, oh, his face is in it, and people are going to come and see it. They do CGI and shit. Like, it...
I didn't think they were going to do that because...
Ryan Coogler, I think, said he was not going to do that.
I think Ryan Coogler is one of the best.
I can't pronounce his name.
He is one of the best directors that we've had.
Yeah.
And I also heard he might be doing Avengers Secret Wars. And if he is, so looking forward to that now.
Because I think what made this... My biggest concern going into this movie was that it would fall back to being a Marvel movie. Which it didn't. There were certain points that it did feel a little Marvel-y, but nothing that was...
Like the fight at the end was
really...
I didn't even realize it was... I, forgot in the middle of it that it was a Marvel movie.
Yeah. Like, it is its own beautiful standalone movie.
Like, it does set up things that I'm looking forward to, especially with the American subplot.
Yeah.
Because, I think going forward, that idea is really going to be played into. Yeah. I also really like Riri. I know that a lot of people say that she's kind of shoehorned in. I can see that, but for me...
It works.
It works.
Because,
it works.
Well, and basically it's her device that sets off the entire movie.
And she made me feel better. Her character made me feel better.
Okay.
It didn't make me sit there and just think about Chadwick the whole movie. It made me feel better.
She was funny.
She was funny.
I wish Niall were here because he would.
He would rip in right now. He would go in.
Her.
Yeah.
I'd also say Letitia Wright as
we have to talk. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we got to talk about her. We got to talk about her. Yeah.
Goes through such a trauma conga line. It's funny when it's put like that. It's put like that, but what she does with what her character is given is so fucking powerful. Because she really does go through being the funny kid. Like, in the last Black Panther movie, she and T'Challa were joking about shoes, and she was
sneakers
filming him making a fool of himself.
Yeah.
But in this movie, she's like...
But yeah, because now that's gone.
That's gone, and like you can feel his presence, but
yeah.
it's not there. It's that hole in your heart, and the way she does it, it's just so fucking beautiful, because that really does feel like a sibling mourning the death of their brother.
Yeah, Shuri became like one of my favorite characters.
Because you really go from her being like the kid to being, well, she's like the adult.
Yes,
she's now the adult.
Going forward, I'm really curious about what they're gonna do, because I love the way this movie ends.
Oh God.
Yeah.
It's such a bittersweet moment.
I will say,
but I'm so glad that they
very
gave
end of
it.
the movie, before we get that bittersweet moment, but where it's just silent.
Oh, that made me cry.
The beginning of the beginning where the title screen was silent.
Yeah.
That I started crying
so
instantly.
Fucking silent. Wasn't from the movie, but from that kid going.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God.
Yep. He did not.
He did not know.
I had to make my little nephew aware, and he has a bedroom decked out in Black
that's
Panther
what I was
things.
Thinking of,
Had to tell him he didn't understand shit. You know, it broke his little heart.
The soundtrack for this movie is...
Colin Labrisso's my favorite.
Oh my God. I know that's everyone's favorite, but my favorite was the song they used when telling the Moors backstory.
Oh, what was it
That shit hit so fucking hard. It's called Bajo El Mar.
Bajo El Mar?
Yeah, it's such a good song. It just...
I'm sorry, but I just love the beauty of Colin Labrisso. I think the Black Panther soundtrack's always been... Whenever there's going to be another Black Panther movie, I always look forward to the soundtrack.
I will never forget Kung Fu Kenny doing that first one justice. Seriously.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know.
Kendrick Lamar. That's one of his nicknames, Kung Fu Kenny.
Kung Fu Kenny.
Yeah.
You know who you're talking
I know.
to, right?
He really did the first soundtrack.
All right, okay.
Due diligence.
This is the #1 best movie of 2022. Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh my
I love this movie. And this is also this movie that I have watched more than any here. Mostly because Black Panther hasn't come out on...
I haven't seen it.
Black Panther, like...
We gotta watch it.
Almost 3 consecutive times in a row in the theater.
It is...
Oh my God, it's...
It's everything. It's
is.
sad, it's...
funny.
Heartwarming, it's funny, it's actually... Funny is not giving it enough credit.
Wow.
It is really funny.
95%.
It is so fucking good, and I think
so inventive, so creative.
the overall theme of generational trauma in this movie, oh, chef's kiss. It was awesome.
Also, like, a little bit of, like, ADHD inspired stuff.
Yeah.
And you can really kind of understand why.
And, like, being able to confront your parents about, you know, maybe things they did.
Also being the best multiverse movie of 2022.
Yes.
It was an overwhelming movie experience for me because there was just so much, and this one made me cry, making me feel good about myself.
Yeah, like you come to that realization of what the movie's trying to tell you. And
yeah.
It's like, I get it now.
Especially with Michelle Yeoh, Ke Huy Quan, Stephanie Hsu.
Yeah.
I hope I'm...
Jamie Lee
Curtis, James Hong.
And James Hong, oh my God.
Everybody just did such a great job.
Every bit of this movie was entertaining. The fight
scenes. For different
reasons, which was really awesome.
Like, there's some moments where, like, okay, this is a bit suspenseful. Like,
with
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis, it's suspenseful. With Michelle Yeoh, it's either going to make you cry happy tears or it's going to make you cry sad tears.
To this day, it's always going to be Ke Huy Quan that I remember most from this.
Ke Huy Quan. It was...
He has to play...
And I think this movie's, like, kind of special for him.
From what I read up, and I also follow him a lot on Instagram and stuff. He's short round from Indiana Jones. He's Data from the Goonies, but, like...
That's basically
that was it, and, like, no one would ever see him as anything else. And also, there was no other roles for Asian actors for a very long time in Hollywood. And the movie he said that made him want to get back into acting was Crazy Rich Asians because he felt left out.
Yeah.
And so he was offered this movie because they thought the directors genuinely just wanted him. Because Ke Huy Quan was actually a teacher.
Yeah.
He's a teacher of acting. So he just was like, I know how to act, so like he just did it.
Yeah.
I know how to act.
And he was great in his movie.
He has to play 3 very distinct versions of the same character.
And he does
So
awesome.
good. I want to be more like Wayman.
Yeah.
And I try every day in my life to be like him.
Wayman, you need a Wayman in your life.
You need a Wayman in your life.
You know what? Yeah.
That was literally the title of an analysis video. I didn't watch the video, but I was like, I agree with that. I agree with that. Everyone needs a Wayman.
No, yeah, there's a scene with him that to this day I choke up at, because the thing he says about like fighting and like how he fights genuinely like makes me feel good about myself.
Yeah.
This whole movie got me out of my funk just because of just how it made me feel, and like I've watched this like after that 5 other times with my friends. And this is just one of those movies that, like, all my friends always ask me, like, hey, can we, like, watch that again?
Yeah.
Because I'm the only one who owns it.
Which is really, this is really surprising, but I've only seen it once. But I still remember it bit for bit. Like, that movie stuck with me. And I did see it.
It is getting to the point where, like, I have to, like, kind of stop watching it because I don't want it to become
You don't want
a
it
point
to
where,
become
like,
old, yeah.
I don't want it to.
It becomes a chore to watch.
Yeah. Or I'm like, okay, I'm just getting to my favorite parts. But there's so much of this movie that is my favorite part. Yeah. Down to the fight scene.
The fight scene. Oh my god. Okay. What's really funnier is that I saw this with my dad.
Yeah, you told us. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw this with my dad, and when I tell you that this isn't his kind of movie, he generally sleeps through all the movies that I bring him to, save for Elvis.
Damn.
But that he stayed awake this entire movie.
It's a hard movie not to, like, lose your
attention. And it was like,
at.
and during the fight scenes, I could hear him go, ooh, or he would, like, do this.
I did that too, for very different reasons.
He would cramp up, and I would be like, oh my god, he's actually still awake and watching this movie. And he's like, it's such a bizarre movie, but I like it.
Shout out a couple of my friends who really like this movie because of just Asian culture represented into it. Specifically, the Chinese immigrant story that's in this is just really spoke home to a lot of my friends.
Yeah, that's what I
really appreciated it.
That's really what always matters. It's just representation is just bigger than what people think it is. Like, it is bigger than just a movie. Like, when there's representation like that in movies, it's just not a movie anymore. It's like, it's a comfort thing.
Oh yeah, this is definitely a comfort
like
movie.
For me, Black Panther, that was for me.
The first one, because I don't know how you could see the second one being a comfort movie for as good
as
it is.
Not in like
that's not gonna be a comfort movie.
No, I mean like for the representation of like different cultures.
Okay, I get you.
That made me feel just
and it's
so
representation
nice.
Done really good.
Really, when it's done good
great.
Too.
It's done fantastic. It's not like some bullshit just shoved down your throat. Here's what you should think. It just really plays out.
It's not there to fill out like a checkbox.
Exactly.
Like I've seen in a lot of things where it's just like, okay, you have this in here just so that you can fill out a checkbox.
Yeah.
And anyway, I feel like this movie was such a love letter to so many different things.
Yeah.
This movie is going to be like my top 10 of all time.
Yeah. This was, I think.
Like everything else is like the top 10 of 2022, but like this is a movie that I'm going to stick with me and I'm going to show my kids and anybody else in my future.
I don't mean to sound like over dramatic, but it does feel like those once in a lifetime kind of movies.
It really does.
That's not dramatic at all.
And thank you, Emily. Not dragging me, but like making me go to the movie theater and seeing this, because I was going to see this, but I was probably going to see it like at home. But like I'm so glad I got to see this in the theater.
Yeah.
And I think Emily said something about this movie that was really good. I think it was that this movie really doesn't shy away, but like addresses a lot of nihilism or some shit.
Nihilism.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, does it really?
It really does, but like in a good manner. It addresses what nihilism has done to maybe our generation and how we take a look at things and go, well, shit.
What's the point?
What's the point?
Well, because I'm asking because like about a year or two ago, I genuinely believed in that. Like I was a genuine nihilist.
You should watch this.
Yeah, but that's why I'm asking. Like, would it really speak to me?
It tackles that, and then through the like most fantastic way possible.
It does it in a way that like a good debate should do it, where you understand both points
Yeah, like you get it. I get it. I get why maybe people are nihilists.
Yeah,
but
by the end, both ways they look at the situation, they come together and see it in one way, but just through two different views. It's just a movie that makes you feel good about life, and it makes you want to like look at things and like
maybe not
because the movie looks at things of like, okay, where are you at in your life right now?
Mm-hmm. What are you doing?
What are you doing? And like, what led you to this? And what would you do differently? And why maybe you should just be appreciative of what you have.
I would love to see how they talk about nihilism as like from a perspective of someone that actually was fucking dealing with that. It would be nice to understand how somebody else got out of it.
Yeah.
Well, for me, it definitely helped me. But like, also like movies do something to me that's some. But yeah, I'm just gonna say this to kind of wrap up this video. This in 2014 for me was like the best year of movies. And I don't know why I say 2014, but when I go back in my my younger years, I'm only 21. But like
your younger years.
But I'm like, I look back on that year and I think like all of the movies that I saw in theaters and like just having the best time watching them. All these different kinds of movies that I got to see in the theater, and it just was like the thing that made me love movies. That's what I felt about this year. Seeing
I agree.
Everything that I would never have seen if it weren't for like someone telling me you should go watch this or you should go I got dragged out to go see something. Like
you got dragged to go see fucking Babylon.
I need to talk about the menu. I mean, like even this was also the big year for like $1 Million Media as well. Like we did start in 2021. But, like, this was the year where I really started focusing on this and really started loving what I'm doing here. Yeah. And, I just want to say, like, I hope you guys continue to listen and watch all of these videos that I make. This is definitely a long one, and I'm going to try to cut it down to the best I can. I hope you all enjoy it. Please like, subscribe, and share. Please listen to us on Spotify, and also follow us on our social medias at $1 Million Media. And, I hope you all have a good day.
Bye.